I was the kid that parents would point to and then ask their own child, why can't your ass be like Chris? Honor roll student, altar boy, best camper. I even volunteered feeding the homeless on weekends. So it came as no surprise to anyone when I was cast the lead role as the littlest angel in my annual elementary school play. And to quote Joe Biden, it's a big fucking deal. There was only one problem. I was a fraud. Between Mass, I would grab up a handful of the communion wafers and snack on them in the back and chase it down with communion wine. In my top drawer, I had built up a nice little nest egg with the $2 my parents would give me every Sunday to put in a collection plate. I said I was a fraud. I even got my first kiss inside the church by convincing Keisha Taylor that we were practicing for when we get married for real one day. And I had a good thing going until one summer when I was 12 years old and I came face to face with reality. My aunt's church was putting on a play and she invited my mom and my mom decided to take me. And I was extremely excited because after all, I had just performed in front of tens of people myself. So I was gonna be able to see other people display their craft. When we got there, they gave me a program, and that's when I learned that the title of the play was The Devil's Funeral. We went inside the church and we took our seats, and the first thing I noticed was the fact that they had a real casket up in front of the altar, surrounded by flowers. But not any kind of flowers, dead flowers. I'm assuming because it was the devil's funeral. The pastor came out, and for some reason, he locked eyes with me and started this eulogy. We're not here to celebrate the devil's life. We're here to celebrate his death. We're here to say goodbye and good riddance. We're here to say, let the doorknob hit you where the good Lord split you. We're here to say adios and the river dirty. My mom explained what he meant. And just then the power went out, which was not part of the skit. And we realized that because it took out the AC and it started to get real hot in the church, like hot as hell. So they opened up all these windows and handed out fans, and without breaking his eye contact with me, he continued on with this eulogy. Satan, your time is up. You liar. You thief. Does he know about my stash? You drunkard. And the communion wine? You womanizer. How does he know I have no intentions of marrying Keisha Taylor? And just then, this bird flew in through the open window. Now, my mom swore up and down that it was a pigeon, but to a 12-year-old that was about to piss his pants, it looked a lot like a crow. It made about 2 or 3 swoops around the church, and then the black pigeon crow went back out the window. The pastor wrapped up his eulogy, and I was just about to breathe a sigh of relief when he had them open the casket and invited everyone to come down for a viewing. I remember walking down the aisle real slow, watching the people up ahead of me. You know, some would look in there and just scream out, "Oh, Lord!" Others would look in and just run off sobbing heavily. And I remember saying, like, what's in there? Like, who's in there? What kind of church is this? Then it was my turn. My heart was racing. I tippy-toed and I looked in, and what I saw was me. You see, they placed a mirror inside the casket, providing this 12-year-old confirmation that he was not the littlest angel, but little Lucifer himself. I spent the next days, weeks crying uncontrollably and periodically checking my head for horns as my mom was trying to figure out whether to send me through counseling or to confession. She chose confession, which us altar boys often viewed as like church detention. So I went and I met with Father Jeffries, and I told him about the wine. And he actually started laughing. My son, those wafers hadn't been blessed, so they were just crackers. And you weren't drinking wine. It was grape juice. So no harm, no foul. But then I told him about the kiss and Keisha Taylor. He started laughing again. My son, none of us knows what God has in store for us. If it's his will, you and Keisha will get married one day. So no harm, no foul. We didn't get married one day. So I went ahead and I told him about the money I had stashed away in the top drawer. But he didn't laugh at that one. In fact, what he said was, "How dare you? You're an altar boy, for God's sake. You need to bring every penny of my money, the church's money, and put it in that collection plate on Sunday, if not sooner. And if this weren't confession, I'd be on the phone right now with your parents, telling them about your covetous ways. Littlest angel, my ass." So you went to see the place? Over the years, it's been about 4 decades since that's happened. And when I look back on it, I realized, sure, I wasn't the littlest angel, but I wasn't little Lucifer either. I was just a 12-year-old boy. In fact, now that I'm a parent, I've grown to appreciate that experience, because I know it's going to come a time when my son is going to have to be confronted about his deceit. So what I'll do is just stroll him in front of the nearest mirror, have him look straight in the glass, and ask him one question. Did I ever tell you about that time I went to the devil's funeral? Thank you.